Hello everyone. Welcome once again. Welcome to the final workshop of this wonderful hackathon. It's so lovely to see some of the faces and the same people that have been here for the past 2 weeks for seeing us through this whole workshop process. Today we are joined by two wonderful speakers whom I'm inviting to the stage right now. Max and Yasir from Bitfinity. Bitfinity is our new hackathon partner. They just joined the hackathon. And aside from holding this workshop, they will also be offering a new hackathon bounty. But I'll tell you something about that after the workshop. For now, let's see if Yasir is up here. Hi, Max.
Hello.
Um,
Hi, how do you do?
fine. Lovely to see you.
Great to be here. Thanks for inviting us.
And that's Yasir. Okay, guys, I think we're pretty much set. Max and Yasir will be talking about Bitfinity and Solidity for the next 30 to 35 minutes. And after that, they'll be answering some questions. If you have any questions, feel free to pop them in the chat, and I guess they'll get to them after they finish presenting. So yeah, without any further ado, feel free to kick it off whenever you're ready.
Thank you. So yeah, we're from Bitfinity. We're an Ethereum virtual machine that's built on the IC, the Internet Computer, and leveraging some of the IC's powers, you can do some things before with Solidity that you couldn't do in the past. So Bitcoin smart contracts become a thing. You'll be able to have Solidity run directly with decentralized Bitcoin, which is held by canisters on the IC in a decentralized manner. And the Bitfinity EVM is really fast. We've already got the testnet up and running. And today we're going to show you how you can deploy your own Solidity dApp to the Bitfinity EVM with the help of one of my colleagues, Yasir, who's been a really great help and support to the team. So, but before I get into that, I just want to say Bitfinity is really fast, really scalable. We've heard about layer 2s scaling up Ethereum. Bitfinity is faster than most of them, possibly all. You can run, using the IC's native speed for a subnet, you can run hundreds of transactions a second using Bitfinity. And you'll also have very cheap and affordable Web3 transactions as well. In the near future, we hope to incorporate some of the new tokens, so bring them over. So, like, there's been a lot of exciting development with ordinals as well, and we will be in the process of migrating tokens over. The ecosystem is really super early. It's a very young ecosystem, so if you're looking to deploy an application on the Bitfinity EVM, now is really the time. Whether that's exchanges, lending and borrowing, any kind of DeFi, any kind of infrastructure related protocol. We're agnostic, so there's so much really that can be built to help tokenize the internet computer and also Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. So here, if you just go to bitfinity.network, you can see the docs. So this is just the landing page. We've got some information about the ecosystem here. You can visit our block explorer, see some Solidity examples. We've also got a blog where we write about the various advancements on Internet Computer and also on Bitfinity. And so the documentation you can find easily. You just go to developers on this tab, go to documentation, and it will take you to all the docs, and you can see how to get up and running, what to connect to. So let's have a look. How you connect MetaMask to the Bitfinity network as well. It's all there for you to have a look at. How to get started with Truffle and Hardhat. Just check the docs. We also have a quick start page. So if you just want to set your network, you can click on Get Started and then click the Add Network button, and that will add the Bitfinity test network to your MetaMask URL. You have a block explorer here. So you can see the latest transactions and even view, what's happened. See the, let's see, one transaction. You can see the last transaction here, some kind of multi-call method, other previous transactions. So this block explorer is based on Autoscan, which is one of the popular block explorers in the Ethereum ecosystem. If you need to mint tokens to operate the Bitfinity EVM, the easiest way to do it is just to head down to our Discord. And we have a channel within our Discord where you can type /mint and get tokens added to your MetaMask address. But I'm sure Yasir will be able to demonstrate that. So without further ado, maybe Yasir, you would hand over at this point, and you can show them how we're going to deploy the app that we're going to build on the Bitfinity EVM.
Yeah, thank you for giving me the opportunity. Thank you, guys. Yeah, hey guys. So I'm Yasir Sharif, member of the Bitfinity team. All right. So as you have, thank you, Max, for the great overview of the Bitfinity network. As you have seen, he has shown a couple of how to get started with the Bitfinity and how to add to the network. And yeah, so today we are going to do something a little bit fun. We will be deploying Uniswap, the DApp Uniswap, from the contract to some tokens over to the Bitfinity network, and we shall be able to see. We will be able to deploy the front end for the Uniswap environment locally, and you'll be able to see how we can do swaps, how we can collect fees if you have created your own pool, how to create pool, how to wrap a lot of stuff, and this is all running on the Bitfinity network. So without further ado, let me just share my screen. So guys, let me know if you're not able to see the screen clearly, if you have maybe skipped a step. Any question as well are welcomed. All right, so let me just share my screen. Okay, I hope you guys are able to see my screen.
Yes, we can see it.
All right, so just give me a minute. First thing first, we'll be deploying. I have made a Hadad script. Basically, Hadad is a Ethereum development environment whereby you can build a script to deploy tokens, to deploy contract to any network according to the configuration that you set. So just quick little overview of how the Hadad script looks like. I hope everything is visible. Let me just zoom in a little bit. Yeah.
While you're talking, I was just going to say we've got some questions from the chat, so I might just interrupt occasionally the questions. So one is show how to use an ERC20 token in the IC. That's exactly what we're, part of this tutorial will be showing you that.
Yep. Okay. Let me just edit the network. So we are using the so this is our testnet RPC endpoint, which is called testnet.bitfinity.network. As you can see, I have my configuration right here, which is we are using the testnets, as you can see, and we also have a script which deploys. Sorry if I'm going too fast, okay? Just let me know if I'm going too fast. We also have a small script for deploying the Uniswap contract. As you can see, these are unmodified and they are directly downloaded from the NPM Uniswap package. So if you go to the NPM and search for Uniswap, you are going to find these ones right there. So we have a couple of the Uniswap contract that is needed to run the full Uniswap contract. So these are a bunch of the contract that I'll be using. As you can see, we have a bunch of written codes which deploys to the Bitfinity network. I will show you in a second. And We also have some ERC20 tokens. I have created around 8, 9 of them. As you can see, don't mind the names. We have something called Cashiam, Coinaro, Coinverse, and a bunch of them.
Names, actually, I like the names. Quite innovative.
Yeah, thank you. So we have something called IntelliCoin, we have Coinnovation, we have a bunch of ERC20 tokens. So what we'll be doing is we'll be deploying these tokens to the Bitfinity network, as well as the Uniswap contracts. So there was with the swap contracts, multi-call contracts, all of them, and we'll be able to use these ERC20 tokens to create the pools. You'll be able to see that. You'll be able to even do some swaps. You'll be able to see how many fees you have collected. It's very fun. So first thing first, let me start deploying the tokens. So it's just pretty easy. I have my package JSON, which I have made something like this. As you can see, I'll be running this script to be specific, which will be deploying all of the tokens and the contracts directly to the Bitfinity network. As I have showed you, that will be testnet.bitfinity.network.
And just
this one right here.
Background, so this GitHub is basically just a fork of the Uniswap repo. We just have a custom deploy script which hooks up to the Bitfinity network to deploy the tokens.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. So we just start deploying.
Yep. Yep.
As you can see, this will start deploying. Before we start deploying, it will meet some the BFT tokens, the native token. And so yeah, we can give it just a minute for all the tokens to be deployed and the Uniswap contract as well. Yes, so we can just give it a second. In the meantime, I will just be adding the network to our MetaMask wallet. So this is how you can.
Yeah.
So let me just zoom in.
Okay. All right. So we have some. While we do that, sorry, go on. Yeah.
Yeah. So we can add the Bitfinity network. As you can see, this is a new network that I'm creating. So we are just going to call it Bitfinity testnet, and the URL is the one that I showed you. Sorry. This all information are available in the website, so you don't have to cram anything. You don't have to remember anything. Everything is written on the web that we have shown you at the beginning of the meeting.
As it is just filling in the network ID for Bitfinity. If you remember from the documentation page, you can actually just click a button on the Get Started page.
Yes.
And it will automatically add this. Yasir is just filling this out manually.
Yeah, manually. You can do it manual, or else you can just come here, get started, and you can just click add network.
Yeah, and while we wait, so Victor is saying, show how to use an ERC20 token on the IC from the Ethereum mainnet. At the moment, we're just demoing IC tokens. We have a bridge up and coming very soon, which is going to enable you to also do this with Ethereum tokens. So that is in development at this point in time, but we've done the hard work in terms of like all the underlying stuff, and the remainder actually won't take that long to get that up and running.
Okay, thank you. As you can see, we have been able to add the Bitfinity testnet network, and I have minted some tokens. So currently, this is the account that I'll be using. So let's check up on our deploy script. Yeah, as you can see, by the way, we also have a faucet whereby we are also deploying the faucet and allowing some of the faucet amount to be spent for the faucet tokens. So if you just go to our network, to the website, and you shall be able to see the faucet. So basically, we'll be using this to mint native tokens. we also be using to mint the tokens that we are deploying currently. You'll be able to mint some test token so that you can use in the network. Yeah, it's pretty simple. You just when you come to the developers ecosystem section and you come to the faucet, as you can see currently, I have around 19,098. I can just click mint some test tokens. Since this is the mainnet, you should be able to see the tokens being updated in a minute.
Mhm. So right now, Yasir has minted some ERC20 from the faucet as well as some BFT.
Yeah. As you can see, we have updated. It's 108 now from 98, so it's added 10 native tokens every time you mint these test tokens. Okay, let's get back and see. All right, so we have successfully deployed our scripts. We have deployed all the tokens that we require, as well as all the contracts. So for my script, I made a log. So whenever all the deployment goes through, it just makes a log. So these are all the tokens that we have deployed. It's showing the address, the name, and the symbol as well for the tokens. And we also have the faucet. So let me just get rid of this. We have also the faucet, and we have the contract addresses. So it will just generate. This is the newest one. This is one of the logs that I generated earlier. So I can just remove that. And now the second part that we are going to do is, sorry, let me just get rid of all the data that was generated previously. Okay, so now, as you can see, it was very easy. It was just a matter of writing some scripts to deploy all the contracts required, all the tokens. Now that we are going to the second step. And the second step should be now, first of all, connecting the Uniswap front end with our contract that we have deployed with our script right here. So I have forked the Uniswap interface itself. So I will just be opening a new window which contains the new swap interface. This is the forked version of the Uniswap. So I just went to github.com and forked it directly. It does not modify anything. I just did some touches here and there so that we can get our contract addresses to be read from the JSON file. So as you can see, this is similar to the log that we have generated earlier, so that we can connect the contracts to these addresses that we have shown right here. I have created 3 JSON. So that's for the tokens, for the faucet, and the contract itself. So that you can have all the contract addresses, all the names, all the symbols, so that we can use it in the front end. Because yeah, so I have done a bit of the work earlier, so I'll be just copying the JSON files that we have created from the previous script run. So if I just put them side by side. So we have the tokens. We'll be just copying all the tokens, just pasting it right here. We have also the faucet contract as well. So and then we have the contract addresses. So we just paste it right here. So just to give you the main reason why I'm doing this is because the Uniswap interface, when I forked it, it's actually connected, to the original contract addresses that Uniswap itself deployed. So I had to modify a little bit of the code so that it works with it uses our contracts, our JSON file, instead of the one which has been deployed. So it's a pretty small code. So as you can see, I'm just importing all the contract as a list from the JSON file that I've shown earlier. So this is how the JSON files looks like. We have the factory, we have some NFT descriptor, position manager. These are all used in the Uniswap contract. If you go to the documentation, you should be able to see all the contract that the Uniswap uses. So as you can see, it's a pretty small code. We have taken all contracts, save it in a JSON file, and then we are using those contract JSON files right here. As you can see, we have the contract names, something like that. We are just saving this in the local storage so that we can use it from the front end. So I think I can, we are safe to go and deploy the interface locally. So if I just zoom that in, let me just zoom that in, resize it. Okay. All right. So as you can see, we are good to run this right now. So the command should be yarn start. If I just verify from, okay, yeah, I think it's yarn start. So as you can see, it has opened a new window. As you can see, this is localhost. So let me just zoom that in. It's localhost 3000. We are running the Uniswap frontend locally with our deployed contracts on the testnet. So we'll be able to connect the Uniswap interface to the testnet. I'll be showing you that in a minute.
Cool.
So it is just building. Yes. Okay, as you can see, we have built the Uniswap interface is currently working. Okay, let me just resize this to make it more visible. Yes. Okay, so just a little bit. Yeah.
So
I hope it is visible.
Saying ETH there, but that's actually the Bitfinity testnet token.
Yes, Bitfinity. Because since we have forked, everything is written as ETH. So as you can see, we have connected to the Bitfinity network. And if you just check again, as you can see, we have the balance of 1908. It's a little bit of discrepancy. And we also have the address written right here. So we shall be able to see all the tokens we have deployed as well. So if you remember, we had some tokens that we have deployed. So if I just go back and maybe we can just take a look, 1 or 2 tokens. So if we look at the tokens, we have something called CSM, CNR, we have CVS, we have ITC, and a whole bunch of them. As you can see, we have something like that. We have CSM, Cashiam, Coinaro, Coinverse, Arcoin. We have a bunch of those tokens we have deployed. So now the fun part is I'm going to show you is we can create liquidity pools. As you can see, these liquidity pools allow you to swap from one token to another. So I'll just create quickly a new position. As you can see, the interface is same as the one on the Uniswap. So I'm just going to select the, well, we say that should not be the ETH, this is the Bitfinity token, but for the purpose of this demo that we're using for Uniswap to be specific, we'll be just going this. So we have the ETH, and we can select another token. So for our example, I'm just going to select the CSM. This is the Cash App token.
Yeah. So if you haven't used Uniswap to add liquidity before, this is basically how you do it.
Yeah. So we can just we select the pair that we want. So for the purpose of this demo, I choose one called Cash App, and you can choose the fee tier. So I'm just going to select the least one. You can select coin price as 10. Maybe you can select as 2.5 and something maybe like that. So this is the setting the price range. So if you have used this, you should be familiar with it. Maybe no. You can select 10.
The price range is the price range over which you're adding your liquidity. So
yes,
Uniswap v3 uses concentrated liquidity. So you only concentrate the liquidity you add over a certain price range. And that's what Yasir has just done.
Yes. So this is one of the tokens that we deployed. It has a lot of some millions of tokens. So let me just currently deposit some amount. I can deposit something like, let's say 1,000. We have to approve that. As you can see, it's connected to our MetaMask. We shall get a pop-up to use our ERC20 token that we have deployed. We can do max, then next, we can do approve. You just give it a second. As you can see, it will say pending. Just give it a minute. Yeah. So as you can see, we have approved for this the Uniswap interface, the local Uniswap interface to use to approve the transaction. And the cool part is that we can also view the transaction of that approval we do on the Block Explorer. So if we just go back to the Block Explorer, yeah, as you can see, this is the Block Explorer. You will see that this is the approval that we have done now, showing that this is bunch of the. So as you can see, the contract that we're interacting with the Cashium token. I think I've shown you the Cashium token. We also have the status was success. We can also see the gas uses how much was the transaction fee, a bunch of them. It's also, you can see the logs that have been returned from the, the logs that are returned from the contract itself. So as you can see, the transaction has been confirmed, so we can go back and you can see now it's confirmed. So we can just click preview and then we can add the pool now. So we'll just be accepting the transaction as well. So if you do confirm, just give it a minute to confirm the transaction, and this should be able to show us that we have created a new liquidity pool. Yes. As you can see, we have created the liquidity pool. This is the Cashium and the ETH. As you can see, we can see the amount of liquidity that is in this current pool. We can also see the price range that we have set, and also the current price of the of the Cashium for the ETH.
Yeah,
So
let's also talk about the significance of this. So for the first time on the IC, we've created new tokens, and we've created a liquidity pool for others to get trading in a completely non-permissioned way. So anybody can create a token and do this for any token, which really will help bring DeFi and make it more useful on the IC, as well as to Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies that don't even have the DeFi ecosystem yet.
Yeah. So yes, as you can see, thank you, Max. Thank you.
Yeah.
So as you can see, we have created the pool. Now we can do swap. Anyone can do swap on the network, the Bitfinity network. So if you just go to swap, we're going to swap some Cashium for the ETH. So as you can see, this is the one we currently have. So we can do something like maybe 10,000 Cashium coins. First, we also have to allow the Uniswap protocol to use the ERC20 token. So you just get a notification to allow the usage of the Cashium token. Let's approve that. Give it a minute. You'll be able to see the transaction status from the Uniswap. From the MetaMask itself. So currently it's pending, and you can see it has been approved. I'm sure it is a little bit very small because of this is the extension. So now you can, as you can see, the window is saying that you can now trade the Cashium token. So if you do swap, you can do confirm swap, waiting for confirmation, confirm. So now it's swapping this. As you can see, it has been swapped successfully. And our balance has increased. As you can see, it has increased by 1,000 since that was the price of the swap. We have successfully swapped the Cashium token for the Ethereum. Now, if you go back to the pool, you'll be able to. So if you were the owner of the pool, you'll be able to collect the fees that has been done at the last swap. So we can just do something like collect fees, sorry. And you can collect the fees that someone has swapped. Anyone who swaps usually deposits the half shares for the pool, and you'll be able to collect these fees. So everything is done on the Bitfinity network. As you can see, it's a little bit pending now and should be able to be approved. Yes, as you can see, it's successful now. We can check the transaction on the Block Explorer, as I've told you earlier. Yes, as you can see, we have we have sent the fees over right here, and we have transferred We have transferred the Ethereum, the Cash App tokens. As you can see, everything went through. And yeah, I think this is the, yes.
That's yeah, it's really good. So, in this demo, we have deployed the backend contracts for Uniswap. We have deployed the front end. We have swapped tokens and checked the transactions on the Block Explorer as well. And you've created your own tokens on the EVM, Bitfinity EVM. So that was quite a lot to manage in half an hour, Yasir. Which is very really solid, really impressive. We've got some questions coming in from the audience. So, audience, if you got any more questions, now is the time to ask them. We also just wanted to add that roughly how many files do you think you had to change in Uniswap to get this up and running, Yasir?
Oh, it was only, I think, the network file whereby you just add the URL. I just added this URL for the Bitfinity testnet network so that the Uniswap allows connection with the Bitfinity network. And the other file that I had to change was the contract. So we just connected the contracts, the original contract that Uniswap had to our contract, to our deployed contract.
So literally
we didn't.
I was just going to say, by modifying, roughly by modifying 2 lines of two files, we've managed to get a whole DeFi app up and running on the IC.
We have not touched any internal Uniswap interface at all. So it's just connecting the network and also changing the contract addresses so that it can use the one we deployed recently, as I've showcased you in this JSON file that we have done.
Cool. And you also, so Bitcoin there's a native integration with Bitcoin on the IC. You can send Bitcoin and it will become an ICRC1 token. We are setting up a bridge that allows you to move Bitcoin into the EVM. And that is due to be released very soon. So any kind of application you build on the EVM will be Bitcoin enabled very, very soon. All right. Shall we answer some of the questions?
Yes, I think that's perfect time to do so. Yeah, there's a bunch. I don't know where we want to start, but I guess we can start from Anthony's question. Could you share some of the files that you worked on? Some kind of GitHub repo or something that people can use?
There is a GitHub repo. So this example for Uniswap is actually deployed within the Bitfinity examples page. And you should be able to find that from the Bitfinity.network homepage. Yeah, only slight confusion is that you may find the repo might be owned by Infinity Swap, which was a project we were working on. So that's but it's still Bitfinity, so you can think Infinity Swap, Bitfinity, it's the same thing. Yeah, let's see if we can get the examples URL link. Okay. I'll just drop the link in the chat if possible. Yeah.
Cool. Thanks. Next up, Matthew is asking, are updates to the chain going to be parallel to mainnet ETH, and will there be ENS like domains names?
Yes and yes. Well, so they will be parallel until you withdraw your Ethereum back to the main chain, at which point the changes will be realized on Ethereum. Will there be an ENS? I would love to see a project launch an ENS and integrate with Bitfinity Wallet.
Cool, Matthew. I hope that answers the question. Next up, can we map ICRC1 contracts to ERC20 automatically, or should we write two contracts and somehow bind them in their mutual interaction if that is possible?
Yeah, so if the question is about smart canisters and smart contracts, you can have a canister on the IC write directly to the EVM. So you can think of the canister as like another controller which has a private key and it can sign messages on the EVM. So there is a way for canisters to communicate in a very general purpose way with the EVM. In addition, you'll also be able to bridge ICRC1 tokens to the EVM without having, very straightforwardly.
Cool. Thank you. Next question is: are you running EVM on the canister?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, and then the final question tab is: IC canister impose memory limit for a canister. How do you manage to run many contracts in a single canister without tackling the IC bit, or how do you overcome the limit?
So we overcome that by writing directly to the stable storage API in the IC. So rather than using the memory, the canisters are storing everything in stable storage, which has a much more expanded limit and can potentially use up to 3 terabytes of space in the future.
Cool. What question? Okay, that's the questions tab. Then let's go to the chat. What are the fees of using the liquidity pool?
The fees are, well, depend. I mean, well, maybe Yasir wants to answer that one. Yeah.
No, Max, you can take this question, no problem.
All right. Well, the fees are completely configurable. So it really depends on which liquidity pool you're interacting with. It could be 0, could be 0.3%. Yeah. As is the case with Uniswap v3.
Cool. Yeah, I think that's broadly it. If you have any last questions, guys, now is the time to post them in the chat or in the questions tab. Yeah, I think Max and Yasir would be very happy to answer them. They've been so kind to answer all your questions so far. Until then, I want to tell you that Bitfinity are also offering a new hackathon bounty. They're offering $5,000 to the project which uses Solidity in an internet computer project in the best way possible. So I guess if you could go a little bit into what kind of projects do you maybe want to see and what could increase the chances of somebody winning the bounty.
Yeah, so getting that sweet alpha from the from watching the live session. Yeah, I think the kind of projects we'd be interested to see are some of the things that are needed on the IC for the DeFi ecosystem that don't currently exist. Quite a few people have come to me and they've been interested in like a Bitcoin-based stablecoin. So the idea of having, if you've got something similar to MakerDAO, but instead based on Bitcoin on the Bitfinity EVM, a number of people would be really excited by that. I think any kind of lending or borrowing protocol is really interesting. But, I don't want to prescribe anything. I think, you should be free to choose what your imagination tells you. And of course, any kind of creative project or application that helps to tackle some of the issues with Bitcoin using DeFi on Bitcoin or on the IC or even an infrastructure more generally is something that we will take a look at and love to see.
Awesome. Thank you for the explanation. Yeah, I think this roughly brings us to the end of the workshop and to the end of the whole workshop section of this hackathon. This is the last workshop, guys. which means that we're now officially entering the building mode of the hackathon. And yeah, I just want to say, get building. We hope to see so many cool projects. Do feel free to reach out to anybody at Encode Club or Bitfinity. We'd love to help you. We'd love to hop on a call or answer any technical or logistical problems that you might have. The submission guidelines are in the hacker pack, which I've already pasted in the chat, but here it is once again. Over there, you'll find the submission guidelines and the submission link. Yeah, in the coming couple of weeks, I'll be in touch with you via email and via calls, and submission deadline is in 2 weeks, so June the 18th. Until, yeah, go ahead, sorry, Max.
Very active on Discord as well, so if you want to reach out and have help with any of your projects, then just drop in on the Discord, and we're more than happy to answer your questions.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, thank you once again, Max and Yasir, for the awesome workshop. And to everybody else, thank you for coming in for all these workshops, and good luck with the projects. I can't wait to see what you come up with. See you, everybody. Bye.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.